First of all, I would like to express my deep sense of gratitude towards our Department of Liberal Arts, University of Pune, for giving me this opportunity to discuss this particular paper, because I do believe and I do experience that the more we are able to discuss with youngsters, the more we are able to learn so many new things. So in this particular same, henceforth we are going to explore the various aspects of adjustment. So what exactly mean by adjustment? Uh, Even definition, nature, scope, aspects, theories, factors affecting, factors supporting to adjustment, and even many more things. We are also going to have the brief outline of our syllabus, a note on even objective, that what kind of expectation university is having toward, towards this particular paper. And then again we will move further. But first of all, I would like to know from your side, because mostly I'm more comfortable with discussion in, even if it is online, even if it is offline. Instead of having only one way lecture method, I always prefer to interact with the audience. And I'm sure all of us have might explore various dimensions of adjustment, especially within last 2 years. We have a very another aspect of adjustment before and after, during the COVID or pandemic, we can say. So for you, adjustment means what? Being a student perspective, anyone can share their views.
Adjustment, I think to me it would be coping with stress or with any sudden or big change that happens in our life.
Correct. Adjustment means, according to you, coping with stress. Absolutely right. Any other thought, any other view? On Monday afternoon, so when if after having a very uh, heavy lunch, attending a lecture on psychology of adjustment, it can be also the example of adjustment. Yes, Devika, you were sharing something, I think.
Sir, it can also be about habits.
Correct. Like for example,
Creating new habits, habituating to something that we don't usually do.
yes, correct. It is also related with her habit formation process. If we are more adjusted to a particular thing, then our habit pattern formation, it will be totally different. Like for example, again, 2 years back, we were not habituated to use Zoom and even Google Meet and some any other link as such. So at that time, our adjustment level with this particular technology, it was totally different than the current days. Correct? Absolutely right. Any other thought, opinion on adjustment means exactly what? Okay. At the end of, yes.
I think behaving in a controlled situation. I mean, without even thinking about our personal perspectives.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like that.
Yes, correct, absolutely right. So adjustment, it is like getting adapted with that particular situation, getting adapted with that particular environment, to start with it, as we can say. And also, the first starting word of our syllabus, that is psychology of adjustment. Sometimes by choice, by our own willingness, we are ready to adapt with the changes in the environment. Some changes can be internal, some changes can be external as well. We all have experienced internal adjustment during our childhood phase, young adulthood phase, adolescence phase. So those particular changes, it is also aspect of adjustment. And another aspect, the first one, that is psychology. Psychology, as to define, I hope you all are aware about the basic definition of psychology. Am I correct? The
Yes,
scientific,
sir.
yes, correct. So the scientific study of human and animal behavior is what is psychology. Even if in this 21st world, with so much of techno savvy, at one point we are able to do like anything within a fraction of second. Have online meeting, lecture, even transference of money, and anything. But at the same time, we are unable to trace about our mind, its location. But still, it has been said that yes, it is a science. So why it is a science? Because even if the mind is invisible, but the aspects, core ingredients of our mind, they are testable. And these particular ingredients are completely applicable to each one of us. Like every time I do quote Bhul Bhulaiya's dialogue, in which Akshay Kumar says that हर एक ताला अलग, हर एक ताले की चाबी अलग. We all are different from each other. Individual difference, it is there. Dealing with these particular individual differences in our personal, social, as well as professional or occupational life, it tests our adjustment of what exactly mean by adjustment. So the psychology of adjustment is we are going to study. Focusing to our syllabus, the module 1, it is about basics of adjustment psychology. A very technical and even basic part, of course. Definition, nature, and even scope. So why we should study, or after studying of this particular topic, how it might be help us. So that we are going to do. Then brief history of adjustment psychology. It is always important to have a background about the canvas. Then only we will be more comfortable with the drawing on it. So history of adjustment in terms of Sigmund Freud's perspective, Abraham Maslow, Carl Rogers, Eric Fromm, and even Viktor Frankl. Even discussing with various shades of it, if we are able to adjust, if we are able to adapt with ourselves, surroundings, circumstances of life at large, then yes, happiness is there. If it is not, then stress is there. So happiness and its role in adjustment. Some 10 or 11 years back, Oxford University, they have just introduced that they are going to launch a 2 days seminar on happiness. They had a thought that hardly around 100 or 200 people might be interested to join this particular course seminar. But to be surprised, applications were more than 200. It was almost around 5,000 people who applied for this particular course. And for them, instead of a hall, they had to book a football stadium to conduct the course of happiness. So much of a need as to learn what exactly mean by happiness. Because nowadays our adjustment level, tolerance level, stress level is getting disturbed day by day. So it is always important for us to learn, to understand what exactly mean by adjustment. Second module, which we are going to discuss, that is gender role expectations and even problems about it. Male role, expectations and even problems, because this also plays important role in premarital, postmarital counseling. If we correlate psychology and even adjustment, then even with reference to counseling also, male role, female role expectations, problems, sexism, sexual adjustment, other things are there. Then changing traditional gender roles. At one point, we are going to study in detail the history, the traditional views, and at the same time, we are also going to see a different perspective, a modern views towards adjustment, gender, gender roles, and so LGBTQ, lesbian, gays, bisexual, transgender, and Q, LGBTQ. The challenges to adjustment. In some countries, it is easily accepted. In some countries, it is still not able to adjust or even accept these various views regarding it. And trying to imagine gender-free society. Is it easy to practice or not? If it is so, then why? Or how we can deal with it. The third module which we are going to discuss, that is marriage, career, and work. As I mentioned, that premarital counseling, postmarital counseling, they are always important. Marriage and marital adjustment, vulnerable areas with reference to marriage, and marital adjustment, even divorce. Minimum 2,000 cases has been registered every year in every city, as per average. On an average, I can say so, because in 2015-16, only in Nasik district, as per record, 1,500 cases were registered for divorce. We can also have a guess that some other people, they might not have registered a case, maybe even because of some other issues or taboo or so, but this thing, it is there. So getting divorce and its relation with adjustment, it is also important to understand. Erik Erikson, developmental and even personality psychologist, he has given a term, psychological intimacy, it is always required in couple. Not only physical intimacy, but even psychological intimacy, it is always important to have. Then only the two people will experience the love as a feeling. If it is not, then the loneliness, it will emerge. नाम के लिए साथ में रह रहे, लेकिन एक दूसरे को समझना कुछ भी नहीं, like that. Same thing, choosing a career. Last year, I was having a word with my senior, and that senior ma'am, very easily, she said that two things are most important, means happiness and adjustment level in these two areas are most important for person's happiness. I asked that, which are the two areas according to you? So she said, having happiness and adjustment in marriage and in career, it is most important. Rest of the things, we may have some other alternatives also, but related with these two aspects, marriage and even career. Just try to imagine at the age of 60, you are having a thought कि अरे यार इसके अलावा अगर हम उस चीज में हमारा एजुकेशन करते ना तो और अच्छा होता. Instead of having job in this particular field, क्या होता अगर मैं उस पर्टिकुलर फील्ड में जॉब करता तो शायद मेरा कुछ और अच्छा होता. We don't have any other alternative at the age of 60, 70 or so related with career. So examining personal features or characteristics as well as even family influences. So family business है बेटा तुम तो यही कंटिन्यू करो, दूर जाने की क्या जरूरत है. Adjustment, it has been testing for this young blood. Or maybe, so that guy is just fed up with that typical, family business. So he is the one who is having very something extraordinary thought process. I don't want to do this. I will do very much, I will do something totally different in it. Then we are also going to discuss about using psychological test for career decision as how we can tap or measure the level of adjustment. Then coping with occupational hazards, job stress, sexual harassment, and even unemployment. All these issues plays a very, very vital role in adjustment. According to you, stress means what? We use these words very often. आज काम का बहुत स्ट्रेस है, आज कॉलेज लेक्चर का बहुत स्ट्रेस है, ऑनलाइन लेक्चर का स्ट्रेस अलग है, लाइक दैट. उसका टेंशन आया है, स्ट्रेस आया है, आई एम क्वाइट डिप्रेस्ड, आई एम क्वाइट फटीग. Stress means what? Any thought? एग्जाम का भी तो स्ट्रेस होता है, राइट?
Sir, it could be feeling tension.
Feeling tension, okay, right? Stress in, correct, absolutely right, Sudeep. Stress in the sense, trying to understand in a much more simpler manner, that is, suppose your weight is 50 kg and you have been asked to lift up an object which is around 52 kg or so. For you, it will be might be very easy. But if your weight is 50 kg and you have been asked to lift up or pick up an object which is around 70 kg, then it will be much more stressful for your body, because what you are going to do, it is beyond the capacity. The capacity, the ability, the strength which you have and what you are doing, it is completely different. So you are just stretching your limits. This is what it is called as stress. Another term with these references we are also going to do, that is stressors. I do like my job, but I don't like my boss. The moment I see my boss, I get disturbed, I get upset. Sometimes even I do get angry. So my boss is my stressor. Some news channels also we can say, hey, all these are the stressors for me. So for some people, so watching TV, it can be stressor. जिसकी वजह से stress होता है वो stressor, in short. Sexual harassment, unemployment also. So many people have, even right now also, they are dealing with this stress, unemployment, hazards. So they are testing their adjustment. Maybe with some people, so their earlier savings or some kind of backup plan or option B, any other job opportunity, it might be helping for them. But for some people, it is just so closing and shutting all the doors. Now the adjustment, maladjustment, these terms are there for these people. Work-life balance, workaholism, family roles, leisure and recreational. मैं क्या क्या करूँ? कॉलेज का काम भी देखूं, लेक्चर भी करूं, नोट्स भी निकालूं, एग्जाम के लिए भी प्रिपेयर करूं, घर का भी साफ सफाई मुझे ही करना पड़ता है। अगर दादी माँ बीमार है तो उनका ध्यान देना, even I only have to look after them. Since last 4 days, so the maid is not coming. So that additional work, additional stress is there. So much of it's overburden there. Work-life balance. So family roles. So what am I supposed to do in that particular role? So being a teacher, the role is different. So the performance or the actions, they are going to be different. As a husband, as a brother, as a son, the roles are different. So the behavior, actions, set of actions, even intentions, the force behind those particular actions, it is going to be changed. And this role switching, it is just like quick. Dealing with these adjustment issues and even dealing with this kind of stress management aspects, one must have that kind of intelligence that how to utilize the free time, how to utilize leisure activities. Viktor Frankl, he has also given a term Sunday neurosis. Sunday neurosis, it is like, means for some people, Sunday, it is totally different concept compared to rest of the week, rest of the days of a week. आज संडे है तो मस्ट 8 9 10 बजे उठेंगे आराम से. Then we will have a cup of tea, news reading, even watching some news channels, TV shows, and everything. Then even we will have some outing also, hang out and everything. And then at the end of that, Sunday evening, अरे यार संडे के 6 बज गए, पूरा दिन निकल गया. ये काम करना था, वो काम करना था, ये बिल पे करने थे, वहां पे जाना था, इनको मिलना था, जॉब का ये काम पेंडिंग था, ये प्रोजेक्ट कंपाइल करना था, इनको मेल करना था, ब्ला 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 ब्ला. Sunday neurosis. This, it will result into guilt, existential guilt. Oh shit, I have wasted my Sunday, I have wasted my I have wasted my free time. I had a free time, but I didn't utilize it in an appropriate manner. Now this kind of realization, it will turn into guilt. अब कल से फिर मंडे है, फिर से वो कॉलेज, लेक्चर, ऑफिस, जॉब वर्क एंड इवन पेपर वर्क. देन अगेन, सो आज जो करना था एक वीक के लिए पूरा वो प्रोलॉन्ग हो गया. दिस इज हाउ आई एम डेवलपिंग माय प्रोक्रेस्टिनेशन हैबिट or tendency. Once in a while, having this kind of Sunday, it is absolutely okay. Once in a while, it is quite normal, it is quite, natural. But just imagine if a person is having each and every Sunday like this. If a person is living his life like this manner only. चल रहा है, चलने दे, क्यों प्लान करना है? लॉकडाउन है ना तो जाने दो. बाहुबली देखेंगे, फिर और कौन सा पुष्पा देखेंगे, ये करेंगे, फिर वो करेंगे. Just enjoy. Short-term gains, but the long-term consequences are also important to consider. So leisure and recreational activities also work as a stress buster and helps us in dealing with adjustment ability. Then The fourth module, which we are going to do about stress, its nature, physical and even psychological causes. In technical term, we may also call it as etiology of stress. Why exactly and how we experience the stress, the consequences, not only at physiological level, but even at cognitive, and even affective. So when we are under stress, we are not able to perform in much more focused way. सब एकदम ऐसे मेसी होता है जब हम स्ट्रेस में होते हैं. Also our emotional fluctuation is there. So when we are under stress, also we are going to learn how to manage our stress. On a lighter note, stress means exactly what? Stress means पानी पूरी खा रहे हो, एक पानी पूरी आपके मुंह में है, दूसरी हाथ में है, तीसरे वो पर्टिकुलर प्लेट में है, और चौथी पानी पूरी दैट पानी पूरी वाला भैया हाथ में लेके खड़ा है कि भैया कब खत्म करोगे तो मैं रखूंगा. This is what it is, stress and even adjustment level. How to manage all these things? Then that speed is there. अगर ये खत्म करना है, वो खत्म करना है, time bound activities, deadlines are there, so project, submission, everything it is there. So the stress. Then we also start having some kind of sleep issues, some kind of disturbed, inappropriate eating habits. स्ट्रेस है तो फिर रोटी चावल दाल सब्जी वगैरह नहीं खाएंगे, सिर्फ मैगी खाएंगे रात को 12 बजे और फिर जर्नल कंप्लीट करेंगे. Being a very typical and a very common student perspective. Some systematic, scientific, and empirical continuous research findings has been saying that the more you are good at having social support, the less you are tend to experience stress. Because of course, when we are able to share that what exactly we are experiencing or suffering, we also get so many ideas, solutions, way out, alternatives to deal with that particular complicated situation. So stress and adjustment, that also we are going to discuss. Fifth module is about coping mechanism, how to deal with it, how to face. Personality and coping. Some people have emotion focused approach in dealing with stress. चीखेंगे, चिल्लाएंगे, रोएंगे तो उन्हें अच्छा लगता है. And for some people, instead of doing all this emotional stuff, so they will plan, they will organize, they will evaluate. So they will have that roadmap to solve this particular critical problem. So different people have various different approaches to deal with stress and to have more balanced and adjustment level with their life's routine. Appraisal focused. So it is another aspect. The personality and coping styles. In sixth, we are going to discuss about components and process of communication with reference to adjustment. Now, this is something which is more interesting. Of course, the rest of the 5 chapters are also equally interesting, but dealing with this adjustment and interpersonal, communication, two things are most important. My sir, my teacher, from whom I was very much fortunate to learn or to have the counseling training, Dr. Vijay Prashantam sir from CCC Vellore, that is Christian Counseling Center. What he said that talk to people in such a way so that they would like to listen to you. Talk to people in such a way so that they would like to listen to you. And listen to people in such a way so that they would like to talk to you. Communication definitely reduce our stress level and yes, definitely enhance our adjustment ability, adjustment capacity. We are also going to explore the difference between reaction and responding. Most of the time we do react, so our maladjustment capacity reflects. The more we are able to respond to somebody else, then automatically it reflects our adjustment skills, adjustment abilities. Like that. Effective communication means what? Even what are the issues, core problems related with communication, types of conflict. Kurt Lewin, he has given 4 major types of conflict, that is approach conflict. जलेबी भी अच्छी लग रही है, गुलाब जाम भी अच्छा लग रहा है, लेकिन सिचुएशन ऐसी है कि कोई एक ही चूज करना है. Adjustment and even stress a little bit. Both the things are attractive. Arts is also good, liberal arts, it is also good. Then what should I do? On what basis I have chosen that no, instead of having a regular arts, I will choose liberal arts. Avoidance. Both the things are not at all, interested, but situation is so much demanding that I have to choose anyone out of these 2 negative aspects. गोभी की सब्जी भी अच्छी नहीं लगती, इवन करेले की सब्जी भी अच्छी नहीं लगती, लेकिन कोई एक सब्जी तो खानी ही पड़ेगी. Communication, conflict, and even adjustment. Approach conflict. Avoidance conflict. Approach avoidance, it is comparatively easy, but the 4th one, it is more complicated. Double approach avoidance conflict. If I go for arts, some kind of advantages it will be there, as well as disadvantages will also be there. If I go for liberal arts, some kind of adjustment is there, and some kind of, instead of having disadvantage, but challenges are there. Now what to choose? दोनों में प्लस है और दोनों में माइनस भी है, तो मुझे क्या करना चाहिए? That adjustment, adjusting, dealing with the external demands. Assertive, communication style. Assertive, or being assertive in the sense, you should know how to say no. If you are not able to say no, then your adjustment ability is going to be deteriorate. It is a skill. Many school counselors, so nowadays, they have been asked to arrange assertiveness training skills for 8, 9, 10 standard students, to teach this as a soft skill, how to say no, in such a way so that the other person should not feel humiliated or insulted. So that's why this assertiveness communication style, it is related with her adjustment. University, in the syllabus, they have also given some of these references. Introduction to health psychology, how health and psychology and other things dealing with even adjustment, they are important. Then Indian edition, Witten and Lard, Psychology Applied to Modern Life, Adjustment in the 21st Century. And Martin, he has written a book on psychology as Adjustment and Everyday Living. So while dealing with all these 6 chapters, and even after studying these 6 chapters, as we have mentioned about objectives, the direction while studying these 6 chapters, that is various areas of adjustment. Some of the areas we are going to discuss in brief today: personal adjustment, social adjustment, even professional adjustment, family adjustment, health adjustment, social adjustment, various areas are there. Earlier approach or that particular dialogue in हेरा फेरी के दुख बांटने से कम होता है, सुख बांटने से अच्छा बढ़ता है. Yes. सुख बांटने से बढ़ता है. It is a very common and even traditional aspect. But with these 6 chapters, we are also going to learn some more modern ways of effective adjustment, because we have to be parallel and in touch with current era, what they are demanding, what they are insisting to have. Adjustment means exactly what. The third approach is empirical approach in adjustment, because the syllabus and the topics which we are going to study, they are not only के हवा में बातें हैं, ऐसे करेंगे तो वैसे होगा, फिर वैसे नहीं करेंगे तो ऐसे होगा. It is not only like that. Some kind of empirical approach, systematic scientific studies we are going to discuss in detail. So with this, to start with our first basic point, that is concept, scope, nature, and even definition of adjustment. Psychological process, psychology of adjustment. So when we say that yes, we are getting adjust with this current new normal situation, that means psychological process through which we as people manage or cope with demand and challenges of everyday life situation, how to adjust. Now it is a particular demand that we are supposed to do, we are supposed to attend, we are supposed to conduct this afternoon session, afternoon lecture. Now in that case also, we have two options. Lecture करना है तो बोला है इसलिए करना है for the sake of, so this can be the one approach, or another approach can be 1 घंटा है, लेक्चर तो करना ही है तो और अच्छे से कैसे कर सकते हैं. How can we make our own notes? How can we study some more in detail? How can we make the best use of these reference books? Even nowadays, it is quite easy to download the free PDF books. Z Library, onelib.com, so many options are there. So people manage or cope with demand and challenge of everyday life situation. But for some people, they are not willing to meet, to accept, to deal with the demand and challenges. So for them, additional term is that adjustment issues है. मेरी और उसकी बनती नहीं है, हमारी और उनकी जमती नहीं है, उनके पास जाने के लिए अच्छा नहीं लगता है. That means adjustment issues are there. It can also be referred to person's ability to function, how we are able to function in normal everyday life. Adjustment is not something which is very, very abstract term. But rather adjustment is something which is very much common. Every day, every time, we are surrounded with this term, adjustment. So, a process by which a living organism maintains a balance between its need and circumstances. In the afternoon, you are feeling very hungry. Your need is to have a pizza, burger, samosa, pav bhaji also. But surrounding में ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. Surrounding में सिर्फ सब्जी और चपाती, बस इतने 2 ही ऑप्शन है. रोटी और चपाती बस, पोळी आणि भाजी का बाकी है असलं काही नाही. Now how to accept, how to deal with, how to have a balance between its need and circumstances that influence the satisfaction of these needs. Now tell me, yes, by the way, what exactly mean by adjustment period? Sometimes you might have heard this term. Adjustment period means what? So when people say that, yes, we are in adjustment period, let me have some more time to accept this thing, means exactly what? Are you following? Are you getting?
Yes, sir. I think it's like, the time from like a change that happens to the time it takes us to adjust to it and get like regularize it in our daily lives.
Mhm. Correct, correct. Yes. So when some people say that yes, we are in adjustment period or we are in adjustment phase, that means they typically mean that they are going through a process, going through a phase of what? Of change, getting adjust with this technology, for example, means a process of change and searching for some level of balance, equality, or acceptance with environment, others, and or sometimes even with self. Change. Even earlier, let's go and even Devika also said about habits. I was not habituated with these particular things, but now I have to be habituated because it is a need, because it is a process of change. So I have learned how to operate all these things. So for example, adjustment. शादी के बाद भी adjustment होती है. After changing the job, there's also adjustment period, adjustment phase. Earlier company was, like ABC, but now this XYZ company, it has totally different structure to work. Let me get adjust with these new circumstances, then I will get back to you, like that. Environment. All of a sudden you have been asked to shift from one place to another, from one city to another, from one country to another. Adjustment period, it is also there, applicable. We were quite used to have work with ABC person, but now all of a sudden either me or he, she has been transferred to some another department. So let me have adjustment with this another newly appointed person. Adjustment phase, adjustment period. So again, dealing with some basic definitions of adjustment. Someone has defined that adjustment, it is a harmonious relationship. Adding on it, J. Krishnamurti, a philosopher from South, once he had said that all problems of life are the problems of harmony. Harmony in the sense balance. Because we are not able to have balance with self, with others, with environment, so we are experiencing adjustment issues. So adjustment is a harmonious relationship with the environment involving the ability to satisfy most of one's needs, demands. Throughout our course, we are also going to throw some light on the difference between need and demand, and even expectations. Are they similar term or are they different terms? So, harmonious relationship with the environment, which involve the ability to satisfy one's needs and even demands, physical, social, and core psychologists, renowned psychologists, they have defined adjustment in this way. Lazarus is not there in our syllabus, but yes, his approach towards adjustment we are going to study a little bit. But otherwise, Roger and Eric Fromm, we are going to have from history perspective. Eric Fromm, according to him, man being a social animal, along with personal adjustment, there has to be social adjustment. One must be a social, at least a little bit. The more we are social, the more we are able to adjust. Because when we are social, then only we learn to have various different perspectives towards any one single object. So there has to be social adjustment, which is a reasonable compromise between one's drive for self-realization and even demands of society. How to cope, how to deal the demands of society. Carl Roger, who has given the concept of self, and he has also remarkable work in counseling. So Carl Roger has emphasized the concept of personal adjustment. That means understanding our own strengths as well as weaknesses. This unconditional acceptance of self, it is nothing but the self-adjustment. While facing the reality and achieving harmony with oneself. So what exactly the current practical life demands and expect from us? As we should know, we must know. And Lazarus, he has added a cognitive component about adjustment, that it consists of the psychological process by means of which individual manages to cope. So we have in our syllabus, that is coping mechanisms with adjustment, various demands and pressures. Tomorrow in our session, in continuation, first we will elaborate these definitions in detail, and then we will also discuss of what exactly mean by maladjustment, difference between adjustment and compromise, and some core characteristics of well-adjusted person. And then we will move ahead. Okay? Is it clear so far?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, yes. Anything else to ask or to discuss anything about it?
No, sir.
Okay. Even if it is first lecture, but still either today, tomorrow, or even at any time, feel free to give any kind of feedback. I do believe that there is always scope for improvement. Your suggestions, your feedbacks are really important, really important for me. So feel free to share your views so that we can have more interactive sessions, more interactive lectures. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So see you tomorrow at same time, 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Thank you, sir.
Yes. Thank
Thank
you.
you, sir.
Yes.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you. Take
Thank
care.
you, sir. Have a good
Thank you,
day.
sir.
Yes. Good day.